I really wonder if they continue to give him resources, because I mean that Lee Sin game, it looked damn good in his hands. Let's see if they want to go with this one. The Pantheon locked in here for top esports.
Again, another flex pick taken for top.
Yep.
This time it can go into Kanavi or Crisp's hands. And that means that JackeyLove's going to get taken on 4. Top will preserve their flex right up until 5. And AL aren't going to have the full information of what they'd like going into their final 2 picks.
And this was a question that we were going to see in this game, was whether or not the Pantheon was actually going to get picked, because it has been a champion that they've actually avoided all season long. There's been no Pantheon for this team. And so wondering when this champion was going to kind of come through. As we get into the back end of drafts, those engaged supports that we noted, where are they going to be? Nautilus already taken off the table, and I like this from AL. Focus on the AD carries that are going to make Corki's life living hell in the first few minutes.
And I think that's the name of the game here, at least, is putting pressure where it can be gained. I do like some of these differences in choices coming into the second phase of bans, though, taking away all those engaged tools that AL are absolutely still looking for. Where on the other side, you're taking away top esports carry potential.
Yeah, I love that you point out the engage here, Mazel, because AL are lacking it a little bit. Maokai, great secondary engage, but if you're starting a fight with that ulti, it doesn't hit quite as hard, especially when there's a Ksante who's just going to Pathfinder in front of it, absorb it, and kind of set off the rest of the team as well. So we're looking for AL to find some engage elsewhere on the Rift as well. Top now you would expect to take their bot lane, make sure that JackeyLove's got something nice and safe that he can play up against the Corki. We were talking about the Jinx in the green room, just something that's very positive, very stable in this bot side match.
I'm looking at supports here. It has to be an engaged support. I think it has a lot of value, especially. I'm okay with giving Kanavi another AD bruiser that he can kind of get away with, and just let JackeyLove have counter pick.
Okay, I kind of like that, honestly. I mean, hey, if there's a guy you're gonna give some of that essence to, it's gonna be him. I'm little hesitant about the Elise here, especially with some of the performances we've seen in the LPL, particularly, maybe not across the world itself, but AL have a couple big responses here. I mean, they are the ones with their backs against the wall here, and they're gonna get the karma.
I mean, karma ends this game, honestly.
This has been a really shaky pick for the LPL teams that I've seen, to be honest. We've had the Shy play a really bad game of Karma. We've had several other iterations of Karma do pretty much 0 in lanes. So I would love to see it go down to the support role and just try and power through whatever bot lane duo top esports looks to, because this Pantheon and the Elise, both double flexes, can both play support, can both play jungle, and it is going to be up to Kanavi Crisp to just sort of decide, based on now the composition that they see, which of them is going to take it.
Trying to think of R580 carries. There's not many that are going to make this game like super playable. Maybe this is going to be a Ziggs game, but I don't know. It's a bit tough here. We're going for the JackeyLove Draven match point. We want to play up against an Azir and a Corki. I think it's tough, and already what TES have, I think in the first 15 minutes, they need to be able to snowball a victory. Otherwise, we're looking at really strong poke coming in and an insane front line from AL.
Yeah, so in terms of range, the Draven can match the Corki in the lane. The second you make it to some sort of poke and setup around objectives, Draven's going to be walking into Maokai saplings, Karma Mantra Q, Azir long range poke, range from the Corki rockets as well. It's going to be difficult, and Draven is not just a 2v2 champion. It is a champion that demands onus from your entire team to play around.
That's so much going into it. I mean, when we think about the fearless system, this is kind of the payoff that we've been getting. This is what the LPL has represented a lot of. The unique drafts, the different styles we get, but these two teams in particular, and anyone's legend, they're cooking up a storm with this one. They have a lot of stress on their shoulders. A lot, not only the first in organization's history, but a lot of these guys are trying to make their names known yet again in the LPL. And all of that legacy, all that history comes into a game where anyone's legend have an interesting approach to this one. And especially with top esports' stalwartness throughout the last couple games, it worries me.
I think this is like the most prototypical AL draft of all time. We're re-siding Flandre. We give our bot lane some really early skirmishing tools. Beforehand, I would think that Hope and Kael were not the strongest laning pair, but I think so far this season, they have proved that they are willing to tussle with some of the great AD carries, and here we go. We're going straight into Game 4 with JackeyLove Draven.
And we're on uncharted water. 2 best-of-5s these teams have played this year already was 3-1 wins for AL. We're in a best-of-5 where Top Esports have now found in this series the same amount of games as that they've found against AL the entire year long. They're the team at match point, and Top Esports, it may have taken them 3 times, but they're looking at this 3rd best-of-5 in as many months and saying that this time round we will get the better of you.
It's so funny how stories end up panning out, aren't they? I mean, like going from the beginning of Split, wondering what this AL team could be, what the possibilities are. Honestly, what Flandre and Tarzan bring to the table when they brought these 2 guys on to a bot side of the map that was steadily making themselves available and consistent. And now you have Top Esports, who are literally on one of the most legendary runs in LPL history and playoffs, coming through and finding this match point for the first time of the year. An organization who had not known losing to AL for so many years.
From the lower bracket, it would have taken them 5 best-of-5s in a row to be able to get here to this point, and on the cusp of potentially making it all the way from the lower bracket here and into the grand finals and winning in a 3-1 fashion. JackeyLove already letting it rip with the axes and lethal tempo. We are looking at early game, and I want to see what Kanavi's going to be able to do, because he needs to be on this side of the map on level 3 and looking to punish Hope and Kael.
Yeah, both of our junglers starting on the bot side to mean that they can get into that top side as fast as possible. And for Top Esports, again, just talking about the run that they've been on, it's not like they've beaten nobody teams to get here, right? Like, their gauntlet was IG, then NIP, who had the MVP Doinby at the split, then BLG, then JDG, and now finally getting into this final, this best-of-5 up against AL, who was sat waiting for them. To have done all of that as well in a week. This is their 5th best-of-5 in 7 days. Yeah. The time and effort that has gone into this series and into all the other series, whereas AL have been sort of sat comfortably. I mean, it's only been like 2 or 3 days, but waiting in that upper bracket final for them.
That's the wild part, is just the pace of the playoffs here in the LPL, especially with this split, especially with this new format. It is just no old bard, and now we look into the map state of things. We had the full clears towards top from both junglers, kind of exactly how we planned.
Kanavi's already done with his clear, though. Yeah, he's first. He'll have finished all of these camps. It looks like he might be going for a lane gank. I want to see if maybe he'll leverage his flash. Tarzan's going to be super late for this fight unless he's willing to forego his blue buff.
It looks like AL just have to, they're just accepting.
Oh,
okay, we can't step up.
Okay, they're playing with the fire a little bit up here. We'll see if we end up getting a wrap around from Tarzan. Coming around towards this top side for a potential lane gank. Chris getting engaged on. This is why I worried about the Elise. He's going to flash back, but he's still going down. Kael, the one that takes first blood for anyone's legend.
And remember, this is a composition that Top Esports need to snowball with early on. Their entire comp hinges on JackeyLove getting fed early. Finding the Karma getting first blood is a disaster.
We might get a little tussle following that one up here, but I think Kanavi gets the better of that one every time.
JackeyLove, please do not die here.
Smelling a game 5. That's all I'm saying.
Hope's moving on. Guys, you guys are giving up on TES already? Come on. It was
I just want
death.
silver scrapes, okay?
Let Chris have this one. This should have been a dive from AL, and you can see Hope recognized that he should have looked for it. He was looking to just tempo recall and be fine. Now he's lost that and trying to get another recall, maybe not as easy as he might have hoped. But JackeyLove, I think, lucky to get the experience under the turret there and sort of not putting as much of a dent in this Draven as they probably should have done.
So I guess next tax that's going to come across is these objective spawns. 10 seconds for the Dragon. More importantly, the about minute till the grub spawn. We'll talk about that a little bit after this, but this is that fight that Chris goes down in.
I mean, just Crisp walking forward, unfortunately, gets trapped up against the wall. He even loses his flash, so that's going to be not only the gold going over to AL, but then you're also losing a large piece of your engage, which is supposed to be the flash cocoon coming in from this Elise. So small misstep coming in from Crisp, who hasn't played, actually, the Elise support. So we're getting 2 brand new champions to TES here in game number 4.
And I think as well, when you've got that sort of new style of pick that you're going for. This is Crisp, who's been playing Engage for as long as I've been alive almost, right? Like, knows exactly what he needs to be doing, but it's a completely different archetype of how to engage because you don't have that massive HP threshold to work with as well. And in a game, a composition for top esports where they are so heavily reliant on JackeyLove, and so far that plan has failed, your eyes have to go to Creme, the mid laner, who has also a little bit of a chance in this game to do great things, has had the counter pick in the mid lane, has a small CS lead, and if JackeyLove can't perform, the reason top are going to win this game and win this series is off the crowning of their new mid lane champion.
God, how telling and how fitting would it be with all the culmination of that story? You see the great mids of the LPL. Who will be next?
JackeyLove.
Who will be the 13th mid laner to claim that LPL.
The wrong side of this lane.
JackeyLove, yeah, he definitely is. He's trying to fight his way out of it. Hope is just wiggling that little corgi butt away. He's going for the alcove game, and we've seen this go down time after time as JackeyLove, one auto attack for going. But top esports, they're taking a fight over here. I think Shanks just got the haymaker on the Kanavi. One more auto attack. He steals that. As the fight goes over, it actually is Shanks that ends up claiming Kanavi. Hope is going to go down to a spider bite from Chris.
What is
Shanks
going on?
is still fighting over here. This is absolute madness. And maybe Ksante showing a little bit of worth here. Ksante copy pastas in the chat. He can't finish it. Oh, one more severing bolt's not enough.
Okay, the weirdest fight ever to exist in the LPL just took place on our screens, and AL came out on top, but they're the ones getting forced away. The resets have already come through. People have already respawned and are back out onto the map. JackeyLove was the opener of that fight, and we saw one grub go the way of top, but we're probably going to reset and do this all again.
Okay, hey, that's what I'm here for, as they find Tarzan out. He has no escape, maybe. Oh my god, that Bramble smashed the flash.
No.
Coming out, though, and it still goes over to Kanavi. That feels so awful, as now Chris needs a way out of that pit. I don't think he's got any way out. He's got the repel, but it's just going to buy time as Flandre just gives them a clap and takes the kill. 5-3.
What is going on here? Like, I know you said it was weird. I think this is just straight up awful coming in from our two teams here. This is not what we needed to see.
No.
Sorry for all the children that might be watching here. Just like, yes, JackeyLove goes down, and then we get like a super sloppy fight where there's a lot of skill shots that don't end up landing. And we can take a look at this replay. Most of this is really sad for all the AD carry players here because we're just watching my boy JackeyLove get walked down by Corki. But this starts off with like an Ornn ult that is trying to peel off the rest of the members of TES, and I think honestly Creme on this way provided so much DPS. He's landing a bunch of charms, he's landing these ultimates as well, and I think really threatening the rest of AL. If he's not here and providing as much damage as he does, I think this is a very clearly won fight for anyone's legend.
Yeah, and this is like a great glimpse of what hwei can do in a team fight when they do get a little bit messy. Unfortunately, you're level 6. Maybe a Dark Seal in your back pocket. There just wasn't the items ready for him to go crazy. And then maybe the saddest moment of a Draven's life here where, you know, Tarzan has a big Bramble smash, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, it's my time!
No!
And it was not indeed JackeyLove's time.
That feels so bad. I mean, I feel like JackeyLove just can't catch a break. First, the IG Kaisa thing's gets absolutely dumpstered, but now 369 taking a 1v2 with the all-out on Kael. Crisp is coming up the wayside to try to give some support, but Kael is just getting Ksante. The flash of Crisp, okay, he gets it. At least he gets it. DP's now coming in. That's Shanks joining.
Tarzan's
you also have
ulting.
Tarzan behind, but 369 is now under turret. Nature's Grasp has come out. Crisp, what are you doing there? As he's trying to get away from Hope, maybe try to sneak away and back. He'll just go down to Hope with one more. No, it's Shanks. Where are these kills going? They're all over the place, but AL showing some life here.
A win still, though, for anyone's legend on that top side. They will once again happily sacrifice Kael to get kills onto Shanks, kills onto Hope. Looking at the rest of the map, though.
Does it get it?
Okay,
he clears the way with stopping
Anyways,
plays.
let's go.
So Drake goes down in favor of top. They also get plates onto Creme, who again is slowly but surely stacking himself up quite an advantage with these items as well. He's going to be scaling into this late game exceptionally well. And I look at the dive threat from anyone's legend, not particularly present. Dive in particular, not something they've got. They do have backline threat though, with the Ornn ulti, with the Maokai, and they're going to put good use to that now.
All right,
Trying
just
to take
clear the
down
minion wave for right now. So
We're
at
just
least he
getting
gets at
ultis
least
for
one more
minion
wave. Yeah, he gets one more minion wave before potentially another dive here. And it feels very weird to say, especially with, I think, the history that we've seen from top esports, but Creme is just performing the best right now in this fourth game, right? Like he's performing consistently. We're seeing 369 unfortunately roll threes, and we talked about it from the draft. If this game is not won or with a dominating gold lead at 15 minutes, TES have very few options of coming back into this game. And right now, the gold is barely even. Shanks is 2-0-1 on this Azir. And this doesn't seem like it's going to get any more difficult. There's not even like a Grubs advantage. The first dragon's only been taken like a minute and a half ago, so you can't even really be stacking.
It's so difficult if you aren't just rampantly ahead. And they have a small lead, but it's nothing that you want with this style of composition. They're going to be trying to take some plates, try to poke down a little bit more. They're bringing JackeyLove down here as well. Could be looking at taking first turret, but you also have to start thinking about the timers that AL are having as maybe a Grand Starfall down bot lane. That's going to be the Severing Bolt there, as well as the Spiraling Despair onto Kael. I think they might want to go for this.
What's giving you that idea, Mazel? I can't quite tell.
Grand Starfall in, but they got the Nature's Grasp there. Finally, JackeyLove, cha-ching, cha-ching, 2 times.
All right, double kill for the Draven, but how many stacks was he actually able to really cash in on? He's been shut down so many times before this, so it's a small amount of respite here for TES, but look what's still happening. Hope smashing onto this mid lane tier 1. Shanks very clearly very safe by himself. He'll have that ultimate available for the next objective fight, and it's only just a TP here coming in for anyone's legend.
Yeah, and I like this overall for top esports. They get a couple of kills onto JackeyLove. They're sacrificing plates but not turrets because they're still doing it early on enough. Now JackeyLove with this finished Bloodthirster can afford to take these honestly bad trades because he knows he's going to get his HP back as soon as he gets access to those minions.
Yeah, you're just like slowly watching his health. Like, am I still correct? Is this still working? Yeah, it's not, everything's fine. He's got Bloodthirster. He's gonna heal right back up there as we take a look back at that replay.
So what Elise does and has done well since her inception is dive. Now they do like a little two-pronged approach where they take a little bit of early damage and use the hwei ulti as well. Pantheon comes through from the top.
This is so close, by the way.
Yeah, like if the Maokai ulti stops this, it could be entirely different.
I can't believe Kanavi didn't get stopped right there. That's actually kind of nuts. But we look back and play is already done. We're moving past that. And we have about a minute until this grub spawn. AL definitely want to get that 5 stack of both teams. Going to be at this one.
I think if AL get 5-6 grubs on this next upcoming objective, Creme, what was that ultimate? Everybody gets one. He gets one.
Heads down.
He gets one. He gets one. Okay.
Tornado drill.
Like I was saying, if AL get a majority of these grubs, I think the game is really difficult to play here because now who is facing Azir in a side lane? Nobody from the side of TES.
Yeah. And it's so difficult, right? Like, it is literally so difficult. And also, if you want to try to contest these, now you don't have your Spiraling Despair for the fight. So it's a little bit more difficult as well. There will be the turrets traded in that regard, but still, I mean, I'd take that mid lane turret over the outer turret in bot lane.
That said, I would really still like Top to try and look for this fight because they've got a 2k gold lead there. Draven is the only person that's behind.
Let's go Hope.
I like the step up and the rest of AL following Hope's lead, but now they might have backed themselves into a corner. You got to watch out. It's Hope versus JackeyLove. It's JackeyLove getting bounced around by Tarzan, and now Hope claiming the kill onto the counter ADC. Creme and Kanavi coming this way, but they are completely scattered, and now get knocked up double time as Shanks and Hope gun him down.
20 seconds before Dragon got the grubs as well. I mean, this just feels done and dusted right now. TES cannot find any purchase during all of these fights. We thought with the Bloodthirster, maybe JackeyLove could actually fight, but he does no damage up against Hope right now. And honestly, I still want to see what this Karma is able to do.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still firmly in the band that this is not done and dusted. To be honest, I think AL are sleeping at the wheel a little bit with their map play in the last 5-10 minutes or so. Top have been kind of all over that and making sure that those early kills didn't put them off. They didn't find the good fight that they were looking for in the mid lane here, and maybe that's an element of something to address and to look back on. But there's still a chance for top esports. The gate hasn't fully closed just yet. You can see that Crisp coming in and they're focusing down the Karma, who still lives. They can't make that mistake again. That's not something you should be doing. I never want to see my Pantheon flash stun the Karma when Corki is right there.
He just Valkyrie, man. Like, just kill this guy. He's not. It's very
so
illegal for him
difficult.
to do that. And now you even see Creme going down here in the replay. It's tough. I think this is only going to get much more difficult for them to play. As AL, they're going to make the trade. TS will grab the second dragon of the game while the grubs are taken. Again, and now it's even we're almost at 60 minutes. The Herald's going to spawn as well, so they can have all of this and kind of get their cake and eat it too.
They have the building blocks to just take this lead by storm. But funnily enough, top esports have had that consistently, talking about that macro play that they've been able to work around and get some extra gold for themselves on that. So they built themselves a buffer. But you go back to that conversation with Drat. This is a team comp for top esports that definitely wants to have a lead, wants to have a little bit of momentum to them. And when we're looking at the map state, we're almost at 2 items for majority members here. We're getting very close, and the Herald is up on the table right now for top.
So you're looking at those breakpoints that have been hit. Maokai rushing Locket here as Tarzan. Definitely a little bit more teamfight agency there. Top esports are the ones that are ready. They're the ones that have moved up, and with Shanks no TP down in the bot side, this Herald will be forfeit. 369 with Demolish as well, going to be able to take
grab the eye, guys. Not again. You can't. Nope, not twice. Not in one series. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine.
I mean,
we're gonna insta pop it mid lane.
Because they're going to use it mid, they're going to get this tier 1. How much damage can Shanks get? He doesn't have teleport, so he can't match this play either.
Tier 1's hard.
And okay,
Crisp is on a ward here. This is difficult. They do know the Crisp is there. He will figure it out. As the bot lane push is now crashing, but the mid lane did not go down for top esports' advances. Shanks trying to get away, but has that sun disc up and is just fine under that turret he made.
Crazy how you can just put a sun disc up and it suddenly alters the entire way that top esports were looking to play out that sequence. He gets a recall from underneath his turret, and you know it is fine to do so. But top esports again moving around the map, finding small advantages, sort of taking down top. They didn't end up losing out on the mid-tier 1, or didn't end up getting the mid-tier 1, but they didn't lose bot lane either. And using the fact that Shanks just needed to close that gap a little bit to find an advantage for their top lane again.
So, Rude, I want to pose this question since it seems like we're at odds as to what we think the rest of this game is going to look like from this position. This next straight coming up in 2 minutes' time. I feel like if TES are unable to secure this and get themselves closer to that soul condition, I feel like this game gets almost infinitely harder to play.
I'll align with that happily. It's just the window isn't closed yet, but it's like it's getting much narrower, you know?
There's still a draft coming in.
For sure.
But the Nature's Grasp has been used. There is the Emperor's Divide as well. Crisp trying to flash away, now has a recenter on the west position of the fight. Big ulti from Flandre though, and Shanks claims the first kill of this fight, as now they've been split off a little bit. That's the all-out onto Flandre, but he's going to get his way away. Now Kanavi is in some trouble. He's going to use the shield to block damage. Tarzan going over the wall at him, but look at the backside of the fight.
JackeyLove!
Mr. 369, he's Ksante all over the place, and nobody's there to clean it up. Hope dies to JackeyLove, and now maybe it's his time to shine. It wasn't on the IG Kaisa, but on his signature Draven. JackeyLove is the star that shines for top esports.
And they break the window wide open, Mazel. They destroy AL in the bot side jungle and keep themselves in this game.
It's the franchise man in JackeyLove. Finally comes through with a team fight that I think the rest of his team can get behind. No one was hitting on him the entire fight. He had the lethal tempo already ready to go, and he just let it rip onto AL. They could not get enough damage, and this starts with Hope being so aggressive, forcing Creme out of this fight. And while the start of this is great, there's so many tools that by the time JackeyLove gets into this, it is just over and dusted for TES.
Yeah, I think you get to see Creme being out of this. I was really worried for top, but JackeyLove this whole time is kind of going crazy. 369 as well is playing exceptionally.
How is he playing?
And it's just constant that the small bits of Hope that Creme is doing off on the side, it's onto Hope, and the second JackeyLove flashes in, it sends Corki out of this fight. 369 on the other side of it is making life miserable for Shanks, miserable for Tarzan. And even though the Ksante falls on the back of this, just barely getting himself actually out to safety,
Disgusting. Disgusting. Literally disgusting.
Uh-oh,
Top
Flandre.
Esports, they catch out Flandre here as well. Need the Whirling Death down. Grand Starfall in. Kanavi wants the kill, wants to take down Flandre. But he's very tanky. You got to be careful. Kanavi has no more cooldowns. And here comes Flandre's rebuttal. It's a conversation, a back and forth. As now Shanks is down too. Talk about that back and forth. It is huge trades. Kanavi for Shanks as Dragon is up on the table.
And right before the Dragon, like you were saying, we said we wanted to see TES get onto this objective, and then they win a team fight that starts with Flandre being way too far up in the river. He gets caught out, pulls his team into a fight that they didn't want to take with summoner spells down, with ultimates not all the way available. So now they've lost this, they're continuing to lose control of the map, and the part that we were talking about for TES that kept them in this game was their map movements.
And I want to just address that for Top Esports, this composition thrives when they're ahead. They've now found themselves ahead, right? But it becomes so much more difficult the second they slip up. So they have got to stay on top, and they've got to find consistent advantages in these fights.
Okay, that was a little bold. That was a little bold. They decided to back off. They're like, no, okay, we know we've seen teams throw over this objective time and time again.
That's probably just saying that was an Otacon check to be like, is Shanks going to teleport? Will he invest the summoner spell so that Creme can get alone time on the bottom lane? Kanavi was just coming out of base but had no ultimate. And this is where I'm going to be looking at our two AD carries. Hope has finished the 3 items, got to the rapid fire cannon a little bit quicker than his counterpart, but JackeyLove building towards an infinity edge. And that is going to be the moment where I think we look towards the legendary Draven player and say, is this enough? Is this going to kind of bring your team to a trophy here in 2025?
And the fact that it is JackeyLove, the guy that this team has been consistently built around, the guy that this team has revolved around, right there with the guy that came in after it, the product of OMG's Dark Horse nature in Creme. Finally, is this the moment? Is this the time that JackeyLove makes good on all those previous promises and finally gets Creme a championship redemption from that last spring outing for Top Esports in the finals? And we'll see if they can get it over the edge.
And Top Esports, again, like losing the Demacia Cup to AL, losing in Group A, our 2 representatives from that group that find themselves all the way in this final. They've not managed to lose versus Top Esports yet this season. And in the grand finals, it's Top Esports that are now starting to come up clutch. This game was looking pretty rough, right? We were talking about their chances in this game getting narrower and narrower. And just when that opportunity was about to escape their grasp, they find a way back in.
So now we need to see how TES can play on this mid wave, because what they've been doing is making sure that Creme can stay on a side lane and continue to push and then have the rest of the members sit around this lane. It does allow for Kanavi to even play towards Creme if he needs to with the ultimate, but it seems like a big focus for TES is getting this ruinous Otacon. Those bonuses that they'll get from the dragons they've already taken alongside the Blood Roses, I think is a huge win for them. And there's no idea from the side of AL.
Okay. I mean, they pull off a little bit with the pressure that was pressed in, and both teams very hesitant about this objective here. And then you also have to think about the compiling efforts of those next big objectives coming up. Baron in a minute on the side of Otacon as well.
And look importantly, Soul coming up in 2 minutes time. If we spend a lot of time dilly-dallying around the top side, that probably means Top Esports can do a quite small commitment of just 1 person down to that dragon, take the dragon pretty quickly, or even quite slowly. If you send 369 to do it, as long as he's got TP, he's not going to take damage from it. They'll get through it eventually. That can be Soul picked up, and if you're spending all of this time deciding whether or not to do Otacon, it can cost teams quite significantly. Looking already at that bot side vision, Top Esports, they're ready to go back to Drake if they need to.
There's a lot of positioning that needs to happen here. We are thinking also about those item spikes. I mean, 3 items for Hope is nothing to scoff at here as well on the Corki. You're very close for JackeyLove, but looks like he might not have it before the fight kicks.
And when this started, when they redeployed out of the base, Creme invested the teleport. He wants to push this next wave. It's a minute before that dragon. And while some of the members of TES are going to be ready, they're forcing Flandre to eventually have to match the summoner spell towards the bottom side of the map. Maybe, I kind of saw some of the things. Are AL going to risk starting up an Otacon? Because with Corki and an Azir, you shred objectives incredibly fast. And we've already seen throughout the series that they've been willing to call the gambit on some of these objectives.
It's definitely possible, and I think with AL just being that little bit behind, they might have to go for something that's a little bit unorthodox, right? Go for that gambit that's not exactly the 100% play, but that gives them an opportunity to find their way back in. It's worth mentioning that we're getting to the point now where we were starting to feel scared for how Draven is going to function in these team fights, where the Azir poke is going to become very important, where face-checking Maokai saplings is a real issue, and where the Corki range as well with those 3 items is going to be an issue.
Okay, they try to catch out 369 again. The root is going to connect. He's just going to use an unstoppable slash. Oh, Shanks whiffing the Emperor's Divide. That's going to be a massive cooldown ahead of this fight they don't have. Sundisk goes down in the mid lane to dissuade top esports from moving over.
That was the ultimate that Roodood was just pointing out that they
just go for
needed
Baron.
people to use. Now they're going to start up this Dragon, but you already see TES, they're going to start up this Baron, hoping that the Baron buff will be enough. And it's only Azir and Tarzan. So what can Karma and this Corki be able to get done?
They try to burn it down. Yeah, they're going to try to at least buy some time. Crisp was tanking a storm there on the Baron, but the Baron's going down faster than they can deal it. Shanks isn't even going to make it in time for the Baron take, but that's a massive Ornn from Flandre. They go back for the fight. Top Esports says, you got to call an ambulance for yourself, not for us. Multiple members of AL are down, and they are open like a bleeding heart as the Grand Starfall is going through to try to catch the stragglers. Hope is trying to make it out alive, but Creme has him in his sights. Kanavi ends up finding the Kael sneaky guy in the back line, and Hope is the last one on screen. Shanks is coming over, but he is far from being able to help, and Top Esports will take the Atacon.
It looks like it's just going to be 2. They make it 3. They make it a Baron. They make it an Atacon. And Top Esports are looking to right the wrongs of their 2024 summer and push their way to an LPL title.
It's been so long since Top Esports have been able to hoist a trophy, not only with Creme joining the roster, but going back multiple years, they've been unable, whether it was JDG, whether it was BLG, now here in the first split of 2025, they're on the precipice of another one fight, bringing them to first stand and a trophy here in the LPL.
And I want you to look at the priority targeting of Top Esports. The instant flash onto Hope, followed up with by a whirling death. And it's already over for AL. Because their Corki is out of this fight, the Azir was late because he was finishing Dragon, and they just get a little bit slow, a little bit sloppy around their contests, and Top Esports punish.
What a punish it is, too. It just feels like there's mojo in the air for Top Esports. And it's so crazy you're getting these performances. We had so many questions about this draft strategy from Top Esports. What does JackeyLove do on this Draven? It's his 8th finals appearance here, and he's got a little veterancy to show off as now Tarzan half health. Tarzan is just down. Now they're trying to get Hope. Hope half health just from one auto.
Shanks
gets JackeyLove. Shanks might have just saved the game. Look at 369 though. 369 has the flank of a lifetime, and they already took down multiple members. Creme is lighting them up now with a double kill, and Top Esports are looking for the death push.
And it took all of 2024 for TES to be able to reach the high highs of internationals. Creme, someone who's had so many questions posed to him, is this going to be the mid laner that actually brings a trophy? Was the OMG run good enough or merely just a miracle run? And now TES on the brink.
10k gold to the good. Double inhibs taken. Bot, mid, open. Top Esports had one objective this game. It was get fed and get ahead. They have succeeded, and now they've broken the base of AL.
And I don't know if there's much rebuilding of that one, even if some of the inhibs come back. We're going to take a look back, because it started off a little bit chaotic here, guys.
It's a rare misstep from Tarzan where he gets chunked to half HP, looks for an engage, but JackeyLove's on the cloud tile. He has that movement speed to get himself out to safety. Tarzan goes for the second target, but with that not being JackeyLove, it doesn't matter. And yes, the Draven goes down, but look who's left unchecked. Creme rains hellfire down upon not just Hope, but the entirety of AL.
Look, beginning of their group stage, they almost lost the game to LGD, which is full of rookies, and now they're here making it, and it feels like every best of 5, someone's been stepping up, someone's been improving their play, and now it feels like a perfect culmination here in game number 4.
And I love it for Creme as well. Gets 2 kills, immediate Medjais, thank you very much. And he's feeling himself on this hwei, right?
Why
He's
not? Yeah.
so safe.
I just think it's also so cool. Just talking about some histories and stuff since we have a little bit of time with JackeyLove being so dominant. I mean, it's literally not been since 2020 summer that JackeyLove has won, and now it's looking a whole lot closer to him finally delivering a championship to top esports. The guy that they have built this team around picked up a Draven in an ultimate game of this series, and now they're knocking on the doorstep of history.
Shanks has to go big here. It's a 4v5 with no AD carry for 30 seconds. Double super minion wave's going to start spawning, streaming into their base. And you can see top just corralling AL under their Nexus turrets.
It's 15 seconds till hope.
They know! Tarzan getting low! Flandre is on the other side of the fight! JackeyLove is taking one down, and they're looking for more. Minions aplenty. They know what's here. 5 best of 5s in a row. Not even IG, NIP, BLG, or JDG could stop JackeyLove from delivering a trophy to top esports, a return to dominance for this organization, and we crown top esports our Noxian king.
3rd time's a charm for top esports. They faltered in Demacia Cup, they faltered in Group A, but when the chips were down, when the odds were stacked against them in the LPL final, they came up trumps and come away with the title.
And you think about the roster this year, you have the return of the prodigal son in 369 from last year's TES. You bring over Kanavi from JDG.
Don't do it, 369!
Creme. Oh, it's the handle! Okay, we were wondering what was going to happen. But then you have Creme, who had so many questions as to whether or not he was going to be good enough, especially when he's surrounded with so many legends of the LPL.
The 13th mid laner to claim this trophy. It's not the Silver Dragon Cup, but it looks damn cool nonetheless. And after the trials, after everything that this team has been through, placing below anyone's legend in that same group, to look back at that journey, to look back at this moment, to see Creme claim his first title, make up for that spring moment. For Kanavi, man, JDG was one of the biggest train wrecks in that last year, a super team that never was, and he is back to the top yet again.
And I think the story for Kanavi as well is one to be told, because he left his franchised organization to join to join Top Esports. And for the most part of this year, it was looking like JDG were coming out on top of split number 1, that they'd won the war of the breakup. But what a way to prove that you are worthwhile and that you've earned your space in your team.
It's so funny when you talk about that. We said that this was going to be the reunion of JDG from 2022. You have 369 and Kanavi winning it. You have Homie who's there alongside them as well.